I was going to get the odds, but
go on. What are the odds?
16-1 on MJF, 5-1 Darby Allin, 6-1 Sammy Guevara, 8-1 Jack Perry.
Says Everton, doesn't it? Who in their right mind is watching this match thinking MJF's in any jeopardy whatsoever? Like, we've said it all about this program. It sucked, and the other problem with it, it's just sucked for too long. Like, I'm so glad we're at the pay-per-view because I don't have to watch another fucking Dynamite where Jungle Jack is telling us his life story. Darby Allin, who was this cool goth type who did all these cool videos, now he goes out there and he whines into a microphone about how hard his life is and how he works so hard, and they argue about who Tony Khan loves more. Sammy Guevara goes out there, the most confused man you'll ever see, who just literally doesn't know who he is. He's got no idea as a character, as a person. He's out there just doing things that his character wouldn't have done 3 weeks ago, like going for babyface pops. Now, is he in the JS? Is he not in the JS? Nobody knows. All I know is these three lads have been absolutely just ruined by this booking. Like, obviously you can recover it, especially with a derby. But, like, look at the reaction Jack Perry got on Dynamite this week. Like I say, no people who were in the building who said he was getting booed. Because maybe that's where they're going. Maybe a heel turn's coming. But he's been that unlikable in these segments because the lad can't talk. And, like, it's the opposite of Paul Heyman mentality. The whole Paul Heyman thing about, like, make people work to the strengths. No, let's make Jack Perry, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara fucking talk every week. And, like, Jack Perry's less over, and if anything is getting turned on, again, they might lean into that. I don't rule that out, but still hasn't been great content. Sammy Guevara is a babyface, is a heel, who knows? And Darby Allin is much cooled off as well. Like, this is not how you book these lads. And if this is MJF's genius idea for his second big title feud, then he's a fucking idiot as well, because it's cooled him off too, because he doesn't feel like a hot world champion right now because he's fucking around with Mick Carter's. It's been a disaster. Match will probably be good, but I'll be glad when it's over, and we should just never utter the word pillars again in this company.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, because I think in theory, the idea of this is you kind of go, oh, it's kind of admirable, and it would make sense. And there'd be ways that you could get to this, but they need to be logical. And the way they've done it is with some of the most hackneyed, story entertainment style, sports entertainment style segments that you could ever imagine, where it's 100%. Been really fucking unexciting stuff. Like genuinely, like you're looking at it going like, oh, Jesus Christ, this feels like, rather than having them like competing and tying in the rankings and trying to win matches in order to get there, with some like kind of, I don't know, like they do really some great promo packages and stuff. Like there's much more subtle ways they could have gotten to this point. And the Sammy Guevara stuff has been nonsense. Like it's just like you say, the most confused characterization. It's just been like the worst elements of them, like you said before. It's accentuating the negatives and hiding the positives.
Definitely. And it's stuck around like a bad smell. It's been bad and it's been long. That's the other issue. Like, it's not even like it's been forgettable, 1 or 2 promos on Dynamite. It's been a couple of months of this now. But yeah, I'll be glad when it's over.
Yeah, I will do. And putting MJF in a one-on-one feud is the best strengths for him as well.
Yeah.
Because it meant his promos have been unfocused.
Yeah.
Or the same thing about how he's so much better than the rest of them. So it's like the promo material has been shocking throughout all of this as well. And people have just need to sit down and go like, do you even know how to fucking cut a proper promo? Yeah. And so what I expect to be the main event, which I imagine that they'll end up playing into this, possibly with MJF even, Anarchy in the Arena match, one with all the stars in it. We have the elite of Adam Page, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, versus the Blackpool Combat Club. Why have they still got that name? Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, and Wheeler Yuta. Odds-wise, the elite, 13-8 on favourites. Blackpool Combat Club, 6-5.
It's weird because I almost feel like, okay, what we got a couple of matches to go here, right, JP? We don't, do we? This is it. This is the card. Like, and that's the problem here, because this is a lovely little match. Not even little match. This is a lovely second from top, like it was last year. Star-laden, fun arenas wide brawl. Again, the match is gonna be good, but like this pay-per-view is dying out for a main event, and Look at that graphic we've got on screen right now. Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, John Moxley, Bryan Danielson are all in this one match, and there's a good story there. We're gonna get the elite stuff coming to a head, and those guys, rewriting means a lot to a certain segment of the AEW fan base. Cool. Moxley's been cutting killer promos for a while. Cool. Bryan, basically playing Regal these days, has been very good at that role. It's all been very enjoyable, but like, this is a pay-per-view without a main event. I guess this goes on last. I think that they're the better betting odds. Does this go on last, or do they put MJF on last? I think they're gonna have to go off air with this, I think, because the MJF feud hasn't got the legs, and this is a match that should be the awesome looking upper mid card match on your show, and instead, it's a lot of eggs in one basket on a show that can't really support it. You could have got away with it if there was a, let's say, Punk MJF, title match that's also your co-main event. But yeah, it sums the show up, doesn't it?
It does, and that's the problem with it. Is it's so lopsided in terms of a card. I'm looking at the running order, and I'm thinking, well, what could work for it? And you go, well, because there's so many matches on here that feel very throwaway, like over half the card. That ultimately you're going to have lulls, and normally you would have a match like this in the middle of the card in order to get that crowd back lively, another come down match, and then start to build towards your last couple of matches, your semi-main and your main. And you don't have it. And like you said, you've got 5 single stars in there. Like, in terms of the 5th one, Claudio, who's, the Ring of Honor world champion in there as well. You've got like, one of your tag teams where you could be having like a cracking tag team match with that. It's like, yeah, I'm sure it'd be fun, be enjoyable, but I kind of feel it's just a waste of resources and they could be used in a lot better way.
Well, that's the thing. We wished on a monkey's paw for Kenny Omega to get out of the trios division and get into some serious singles feats, and here he is. Another pay-per-view's come around, and he's still not in a serious big-time singles match now. I think the Don Callis stuff's going to lead to that, whether it's Takeshita, Ibushi, or whatever, Ospreay, whatever road they go down with that stuff. So I think we're going to get there, but it did kind of catch me. I was like, oh yeah, we've been wishing for that, and here we are. And he's in this match with, as we've said a few times, Hangman Page, John Moxley, and Bryan Danielson, 3/4 of the double main event from the last pay-per-view. But with that said, from a booking point of view, I think it's been very well done. I think all the promos have been good. It was the right thing to go off the air with on Dynamite. And at the end of the day, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be entertaining. It's gonna be, it's gonna be the match of the night. Look at the wealth of talent in there. Look at the star power in there. Look at how good it was last year. With all that said, even if it maybe isn't the perfect hook for a pay-per-view and could do with something else, I know I'm going to enjoy it. I know I'm going to be rating it highly, and that's AEW in general, isn't it? This pay-per-view feels like a bit like that Forbidden Door period, a bit like one of those pay-per-views where you're going in, the build's been a bit middling, the programs are a little bit middling, and there's just not really a big hook. These wrestlers are going to get in there and they're going to kill it. I wouldn't put it past Darby and the lads to get in there and kill it as well, despite the lackluster build to that one. If anything else, if we can bet on that, we're going to get an entertaining pay-per-view, and this is probably going to be the crown in that jewel. I think that's 100% the case. Or the jewel in that crown probably is the best way of saying it.
Yeah. And I've got, like I say, the match will be great. I know you absolutely loved this. Like when you were talking about live, like you just
one of the best live experiences ever being at this. And I was so glad when I got out the arena and everyone on Twitter was loving it too, and it came across well on telly. So I'll be in that seat this time. So I'll get to enjoy that from here. But I mean, that's pretty much it as far as the pay-per-view goes. We don't need to run through the other AEW stuff on this weekend. ROH is on Honor Club tonight. Joe
19 matches. I don't think on principle we should talk about that.
They've been pushing that on Twitter like it's a positive, like it answers the trolls. We've got 19 matches tonight. I mean, I won't be watching one of those 19. They can fuck off with their triple main events. But if you are interested, that's kind of the big match there. Plus Claudio versus Serpentico and Athena versus Progress Braxton for the women's title. And then Rampage, which is even AEW don't know what day it's on this weekend going into the pay-per-view because they're so fucked over by this schedule and Rampage matters so little. Acclaimed versus La Faction and Gobernable. Ethan Page and the Guns versus Three Jobbers. Britt Baker and Shida versus Marina Shafir and Nyla Rose. And Big Bill and Lee Moriarty versus Best Friends. So if you happen to watch Rampage this weekend, there you go. That's going to
Zero reason to watch it. Zero reason.
No, read the spoilers instead. They're readily available.